Hey guys, what's going on and welcome to a brand new video. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you like, comment and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, let's get into it. Make sure you like because it helps get out to more people. The more people will come into the videos and watch them, and that has the hope of more people subscribing. You're new, of course, subscribe. Anyway, let's get into it. So today I just wanted to talk about a few things about how our season started. We're 10 games into the season, which is like what? Normally you say that's like the first quarter of the season, basically. We're entering the stage where the table kind of normally shapes up. You know, 10 games into the season is normally when the league table starts to take shape of where you should be as a club. At the moment, we are 16th in the Premier League. A lot of people, I've just seen a lot of people angry and a lot of people being like, fuck yeah, and a lot of people, I think, panicking, even though we're only 10 games into the season. As I said, that's normally when the season takes shape in the table, but it doesn't mean that's all that's going to happen. You know, we are 16th right now. Of course, below we got Burnley, West Ham, Forest, and Wolves. Of course, I do think West Ham getting their win over Newcastle at the weekend did really make people even more nervous, just because West Ham got a win, and you kind of go, could they start going on a run now? That's kind of people's feeling normally when things like that happen. And look, when we beat West Ham, a lot of people said, oh, they're shit anyway. It should be an easy win. Oh, they're shit anyway. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Well, they've just beaten Newcastle, so maybe it's not as easy as people think, and maybe we actually need to give Farke and the players some credit for actually winning that game, because I think people I think there's like, people always go to the extremes. Every time we win a game, it's, oh, that was the shit team anyway. We beat Wolves, oh, they're shit, bottom of the league. We beat West Ham, well, they're shit, they're getting relegated, and then they just beat Newcastle. But it seems like every time we get a win, people just want to knock it by saying like, oh, we should be beating them anyway, they're shit. But like other performances that we've had this season, we'll get into it, but like Bournemouth is another one, Fulham, they're the two games I look at as like we kind of drop points. We should have 3 extra points in this league so far. You know, you're looking at the extra 2 from the Bournemouth game that we should have won, and of course the Fulham game we should have got a point. So yeah, that's 3 points extra that we really should have if we weren't so sloppy and like complacent when it got to the final couple of minutes and got to the end of the game, or just a freak thing happened with Goodmanson against Fulham. But yeah, I do understand people's frustrations a bit. Now, I'm Farke in. I'm not Farke out. I think that's stupid if you're Farke out. I don't think it's the time to be like, Farke out, because who are you getting in? Rodgers? Brendan Rodgers? Like, even, like, I don't think he's good enough. I think Farke's the best out there. I don't think there's someone out there better than Daniel Farke right now. And I think Farke's doing a great job with the squad that we have. The board let him down, and we all know this. Farke came out and said, we won't wave the white flag, but it's going to be difficult to survive. That's exactly what he said, and this is what it's proving to be. At the moment, we're still above a point a game because we're on 11 points. But yeah, it's looking good so far for me. Like, we're looking all right. You know, you look at the table, and you see you see us on 11. Everton, they still have a game to play, of course, today, but they're on 11. Fulham, they're on 11. Then you got Newcastle on 12, Brentford 13, and then you kind of get into the top near the top half where you got Villa on 15, and then Brighton on 15, Palace on 16. That's kind of when it goes up. But there's still like a bunch of us together. Like, if we beat Forest next week, we could be all the way up to 13th by the end of the week. Like, it's still a possibility that we go into the international break. Oh, we're close to the top half. And you look at the league and you go, yeah, West Ham won, which wasn't great, you know. Now they're on 7 points, which is, 4 points behind us. Of course, we got Burnley here, 1 point behind us. But then in the relegation zone, you got Forest, who are, they're 5 points behind us. So they're 5 behind us, which makes the game against them pretty big. Like, if we're able to get the win, that makes it 6, 7, that makes it 8 points clear of the relegation zone. Well, of Forest, sorry. That could make us, you know, points clear of Forest. You got West Ham, who have Burnley at the weekend as well, so it's a massive weekend for the relegation battle with Leeds and Forest and West Ham and Burnley. You know, you got Wolves, who will probably lose again because they got Chelsea. But yeah, it's one of those things where I look at it and I go, okay, it's still close with the ladder, with the table, and I'm still thinking, performance-wise, we've looked good. I don't think we played bad this season, and I understand people's frustration with the Brighton game that just happened. I do understand, because we weren't in the fight, we got battered 3-0, but that's going to happen against teams with way more quality than what we have. Now, can we go? I'm going to go through the season, and let's see if what we predicted, the majority. Like, I know people, there's more people that are confident. They'll say, no, we can beat them, but we'll go off what the majority and what what you would actually think in each game, and see if we're above where we should be. So the first game of the season was against Everton. Now, a lot of people did say we could win because we're at home on the opening day, but a lot of people said a point would be a good result against Everton. So we'll say a point there. So we got 3, but like the prediction was 1. Arsenal, we weren't going to win. We all knew that. Newcastle, more people thought we were going to lose to Newcastle. So we're still on 1 after the end of August. September, Fulham, people thought we could get a point. So I'll put 2 points. Wolves, people thought we should win. We got the 3. That's 5. So 5 points. A draw against Bournemouth. People thought we were going to lose against Bournemouth. More people thought we were going to lose than not lose or, get a point. So we'll put a loss there as well. So we're still on 5 points at the end of September. Spurs, yeah, but everyone probably thought we're not going to beat Spurs, but we could nick a point, but it's one of those where most people would say we'll probably lose. So still on 5. Burnley, people thought we were going to win. A lot of people thought we were going to win, so we'll give that a win. So 1, 2, so that's 8 points. West Ham, again, win. 9, 10, 11. And then Brighton, people really didn't think we were going to win. So if you go off what, before the season started, if you looked at the fixtures that we had in games where we're like, we got to win that, we should win that, we might lose that, we'll probably lose that, the results that we thought would be on 11 points. So we would be on, oh my God, we would be on the exact same amount of points we are right now. The only difference is the wins would have came against, we would have lost to, we wouldn't have got the win again, we would have got the win against Burnley. Oh my God, we would have got the win against Burnley. That would be probably the only difference. But yeah, I just wanted to come and talk about how I just think the season started well. I think Farke's done the best he can do with this squad. I do think we have one of the worst squads, if not the worst squad in the league. Because I look at it, and especially in attack, the defense. I like the defense. I like Bogle. I like Goodmanson. I like Rodon. That other centre-back is a bit shaky for me because Biol I'm not confident in right now because I think his positioning is terrible. Positioning-wise, he's terrible. He's slow. This is what I've realized. This is what I've seen from the first couple of games. Now that can change if he starts finding some form, and it might change my opinion. But right now, what I see is someone whose positioning is poor, leaves his man open a lot, and is pretty slow, so he can get beat for pace pretty easily. So he's one of those that I'm scared of. And then you got Struijk on the other hand, who can be beat easily, and we all know that he can get run past pretty easily. And it's one of those things where I'm looking at both of them. And right now, I'd probably prefer Struijk starting because of his pace, and he can actually catch up to the attacker because he's actually fast. But it is a worry, that other centre-back for me. So I like the defence besides one centre-back where I'm a bit worried. Maybe I think Struijk should come back in because I'm a bit worried about that. The goalkeeper, Perry, I like Perry. I need to see a bit more from Perry, but I'm liking him so far. His kicking is not the best, but we all knew that. We just wanted a keeper who could save shots he can, and it's not his fault for any of the goals at the weekend against Brighton. You go into the midfield, you got Tanaka, who I like Tanaka, but there is that thing about me in the Premier League at the moment watching Tanaka is he holds the ball too long. Now, hopefully he learns that and learns that soon, but he holds onto the ball too long and then gets pressed and puts us under pressure. There's a couple of times I've seen him have the ball and he just holds it too long. I guess that's him getting used to the Premier League because we've got to remember Tanaka only played, Bundesliga 2 and Championship football. So he's not used to not having much time on the ball. So that's one thing about Tanaka's game that does have to improve. You got Stack, Stack's on the bench at the moment because he was poor at the start of the season. He was great at the start of the season, had a really good games, had a couple of good performances, was really good against Wolves, and then kind of dipped a little bit in the last 2 games that he did play and he did start. And that's why he's out the team right now because his performance has dipped. You got Longstaff, who, in my opinion, has been great this season besides the Brighton game. And again, I'm not going to put a lot on the Brighton game with the performances because everyone was bad. But Longstaff's been very good this season. Probably, up there, you could say a shout for a player of the season so far. I think it's Rodon at the moment, but he is a shout for that up there. Ampadu, I like Ampadu. I'm fine with that. Your other midfielders, you got Gruev. I like Gruev as a backup. I think Gruev's actually better than a lot of people think he is. I actually rate Gruev. I think defensively he's good. And maybe there's that case, and maybe he should get more chances, but it's hard with Ampadu, and we know Farke likes Ampadu, and he's the captain. But after that performance against Brighton, there is a case for me to say, because I thought he was the worst player on the pitch, there is a case to say maybe Gruev should come in for certain games. Maybe there's certain games that'll fit more of a Gruev-type player than an Ampadu-type player. And that's maybe one thing that Farke might have to be like, okay, we're versing like a... I don't know, but like certain games may be more suited to Gruev and then other games are more suited to Ampadu, maybe, and Farke might have to see that and give Gruev more games. And then you go into the attack, and I think we have the worst attack in the league. So the left side, you've got Okafor, which I've liked, but he's a good player, and he has that bright spark, and like he'll get you off your feet and go, oh, he could do something here. Like, he's a good player. There is a bit of me that's like, when he does beat his man, His final decision making in crossing into the box, especially against Brighton, didn't like it. I don't think it was great. I mean, the one that I keep talking about is the fact of the one where he beat his man, and all he has to do is he should have hit it low into the box because, you know, there's Aronson there and DCL, I'm pretty sure, and he just tries to lob it over the top, and the keeper's right there, so the keeper just catches it so easily. And so yeah, I do think his decision making after beating his man can sometimes not be great, but he's the bright spark in the team. The other player you got on the left side is Harrison. I've not liked Harrison this season. I don't think he's been good this season. And this is, you know, I actually like Harrison as a player. I'm not one of these that hate him, but he's not been good this season. I think he's attacking the good part of his game in the attacking part, right? I think it's been hit out of his game basically after he went to Everton. Because at Leeds, like when he was at Leeds before we got relegated, he was good attacking. He could beat his man. I liked him. I thought he was better than what people think. I think a lot of people called him hot and cold Harrison, when in my opinion I think he was one of our better players when we did get relegated, and he was only one of the only ones trying by the end of that season. And of course, the only player for me that had a consistent good 3 seasons for us in the Premier League, you know, when we were there, and the only player that did that for Leeds that had a consistent season every single season. So I do like Harrison, but he's not performed this season. The other left side you got is Nonto, who's been out most of the season, but when he started the season, I don't think he was great. I think he was poor. Didn't create any chances, and people keep saying, "Oh, we need Nonto back for creativity." He didn't really create anything. And then you go to the right side, you got Aronson, who I like. I think Aronson's done well this season. I think people are a bit harsh on him. He had a bad game against Brighton, yes, but everyone had a bad game against Brighton, so I'm not going to hit that on him. He had a bad game against Burnley, I would say, and that's probably it this season. The rest of his performances have been like, you've had a good performance or a great performance. You know, I don't think he's been bad this season. The other player is, of course, on the right is Dan James, where, in my opinion, with Dan James, he's coming back from an injury, so I'm not going to say, like, oh, he's shit, he's not good enough for the Premier League. But he's never proved it in the Premier League. So I'm a bit worried that he still isn't good enough for the Premier League. But I don't know if he's 100%. That's the thing. If he's not 100%, then that's a case. But when he came off the bench against Brighton again, he was just as bad, if not worse, than Aronson. And yeah, and then you got the strikers. I mean, none of them can finish. Well, 2 of them can't finish, and the other one is the slowest striker in the world. We got Mecha, who against Brighton went 1-on-1 with the keeper, probably took it too wide. I know he had a pretty bad touch and took it too wide. Unlucky with the shot, because I think it was a nice strike and hit the post in the end. We got DCL, who can win flick-ons, and that's about it. And the rest of his game is pointless because he's bad with the ball at his feet. And I don't think he's good enough to be a striker for Leeds United in the Premier League. Who, yeah, I mean, that signing was stupid. The Mecha signing, I'm more fun with the Mecha signing because that was the first signing. That was the first striker signing. I'm like, okay, 1 free striker signing. That's good as a backup. And then you get a proper striker, but no, we went for DCL, thinking that he'll score the goals to keep us up. And I'm sick of people saying stuff like, he's supposed to be creating for the wingers. And I'm like, I don't know about you guys, but for me, a striker's there to score goals. Yes, they can create, but they're also there to score goals. And Bamford used to get so much shit when he used to open up space, create space for others, movement, and then he used to, you know, get others into the game with his hold-up play. And people used to slander him because he didn't put the ball in the back of the net. But when DCL doesn't do it, it's, oh, but he wins flick-ons and he's good. Where's this switch-up come from a lot of fans? Where has this switch-up come from? I just want to know where the switch-ups come from. Yeah, so, and then you got Pirro, as I said, and, God, that guy's slow. And he's not good enough for the Premier League, and I know this. And in January, I hope we do sell him. He's just not good enough. But yeah, it's a worry for me, the fact of the fixtures that we've got coming up, especially after the Forest game. If we do lose the Forest, I'm still not Farke out because I don't think it's on him. As I said, the players that we have, in my opinion, the board let him down, especially in the attacking department. I'm fine with the defense in the midfield. I think it's good. Like, it's good enough to keep you up. It's not this amazing midfield and this amazing defense, but the midfield and defense is good enough to keep you in the Premier League. The attack isn't. And as I said, I do like performances this season from Okafor and Aronson, and people are crying out for DJ and Nonto to come back and both of them to start ahead of Aronson. But I've liked Aronson this season. I don't think he's done much wrong at all. And it's good to have, you know, if Aronson is on the bench, it's good to have that type of player on the bench, in my opinion. He can come on the right, on the left, in the 10, if you want to change formation. He can come on in the 8. He can come on at right back, in my opinion. The way he's played defensively, I'm actually impressed. And I'll be like, okay, we had a little bit of an injury crisis and you had to play Aronson right back. I'll be fine with that for like a game or 2. And yeah, it's one of those things about the performances so far this season I've liked. I think we've been good and competitive in most games. Spurs, competitive. Bournemouth, competitive. Fulham, competitive. we've been competitive every single game this season. The only ones we haven't really been competitive in was what? We weren't competitive against. Actually, no, we're better than Burnley. If you look at all the stats and stuff, we're better than Burnley. They just scored an absolute screamer, and the other one was just a free man in the box. But yeah. But then, like, the bad performance were Brighton and Arsenal. They're the only two performances for me where we were just absolutely poor and terrible. They were the only two performances this season that we've been out of the game, no chance, you know what I mean? But the rest of the performances this season, I've been happy with. And that's why I have confidence in this team to stay up this season still. Okay, when it comes to January, we need a striker, in my opinion, and a right winger. As I said, Aronson, like him. DJ, like him. But we still need another winger. We need another right winger who's similar to Okafor. You know, that kind of bright spark. Maybe a bit better than Okafor. But yeah, I'm liking the team. I like the team. And I think there needs to be some changes into the next game after, you know, against Forest. We'll get into that when I do my preview. But yeah, I just wanted to have a talk basically about how we've done this season and the fact of, I think if you're Farke out, it's a bit stupid because I don't really blame him. And another thing about Farke's tactics, he makes the obvious subs and people complain. He then changes it up and puts Aronson into the 10 and brings James on and changes formation to back to the 4-2-3-1. I think we did. That's what it looked like at some points for me. That's what it looked like. And then he gets criticised for that by saying, why'd you keep Aronson on? Why'd you do that? Like, he can't win either way, in my opinion. You know, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. Are you Farke in? Farke out? How do you think the start of the season's going? Are you confident that we're going to stay up? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.